Euro-Asian Bob strikes again. Let's get started. It's hard to get excited anymore, guys, when he keeps striking. I don't know what we're up to now, 487 strikes, or I don't know. This thing is amazing. This is a 1991 Nissan 300ZX, and it is in a very rare trim level. We'll show you guys here in a minute the way the options are set up on this. I really never seen one this way. I've seen a lot of them. I actually remember when these things were new. Back in my days when I lived in a trailer park, because I was raised in a trailer park. I remember seeing these driving around and I was drooling. I was like, oh my God, that is so amazing. And they are. Even today, in 2024, they are an amazing car. They still perform very well, and I absolutely love these. But when he drove up with this one, I was amazed. You just don't see them in this condition. So many of them are rusted, they're rotted out. This one is so nice. And you're going to see as we take a look around it, it's great. And for anyone who is in this community, who knows about these cars, and even some of you who aren't, it is well known that they can be very difficult to work on. Let's take a look around this thing. So here we are looking at this beautiful Lamborghini Diablo.
Wizard, this is a Nissan.
No, these are the exact headlights, exactly, that are used on the Lamborghini Diablo. They robbed them from the 300ZX. It's a really cool fact about the headlights on this car, but I really like the styling with the bodywork in between the headlights. Very sleek, beautiful styling. And it looks black. It's actually a metallic dark charcoal color. It has the original 5-spoke Z wheels on it. They are 16-inch, and I wouldn't change them for the world. They look iconic. They are exactly fitting to this model of car. No, I would not put 22s on this thing. It would be left in the condition that it is in. As you see, no rust, no crashes. And then we arrive at the most beautiful part of this car, the tail end. Look at those tail lights, guys. Even in 2024, it's absolutely beautiful. Same story down that side. Glossy, nice paint, nice shiny wheels. Let's go ahead and jump under the hood. We're getting ready to open the hood on this thing. It has roughly 77,000 miles on it. And we're going to show you something really interesting. This is not a turbo model. It has the 3-liter VG V6. And all the way from 1991, those are original timing belts. Someone did do some paint marks, maybe at the factory or whatever, but you can just tell those have been on there since new. They even have the rust ingrained into the belt. It is definitely time for a timing belt, which is why you currently see the front of the motor apart. As you can see on the top in the intake plenum, this is not fun to work on if you have to take the intakes off or do intake gaskets or anything like that. The ignition coils are right here. Luckily, you can kind of get to them. You don't have to take the intake off. But if you wanted to do valve cover gaskets because they were leaking, all this stuff, all these hoses and pipes and wires and everything has to come apart. These are some of the beginning years of cars in America starting to have ABS on them, as denoted on the brake booster. ABS. It was a big deal back then, so they definitely wanted to get a sticker on the booster to show you that it has that feature. There were a lot of these cars that came with turbo V6, manual, and several other options, and leather interior, but this one is different. It is the non-turbo, naturally aspirated 3-liter, but yet it's still a manual, but it's the base cloth interior, as Mrs. Wizard will now show you what it looks like.
So here we are, ladies and gents, 77,924 miles. And this gauge cluster looks perfect. I mean, there's not even a little dust mote anywhere. Looks really, really nice. We look down below, we have a lovely warning sign that this does include an airbag. I like how we have to have this warning on airbag there rather than on our visor. As we look at our dash, ladies and gents, a nice gray color, looking fabulous, no crevices or anything, but look here. There's our first cloth-wrapped item. Yes, you are seeing that correctly. That is a cloth-wrapped glove box. Let's go ahead and just open up, take a peek, and got some literature in there. But again, because of the cloth on it, you kind of have to give it a little bit of a boost to close it. As we go to our center section, we've got a nice spot for our vents, our radio, nice little hidey hole in there, clock, and here is what makes this thing absolutely the most amazing fun thing to drive, this 5-speed manual transmission. As we move down, you'll see he's got a lovely radwood keychain and a very interesting design for the actual key itself. Underneath we have a ashtray and cigarette lighter. And beyond that, we have controls for our side mirrors and our defrost. We go to our center console. Yes, again, more wrapped in upholstery. We pull up, got a nice little hidey hole, and actually has a catch on it that it keeps it from falling on your hands. Of course, he said the seats were going to be cloth, and we can anticipate that, but look at the cloth. There's no marks, there's no tears in this fabric. It doesn't look that it's been worn at all. A little bit of bolster on the side, and it has a nice integrated headrest as well. As we move to our door card, you'll see that that wrapped glove box wraps around to the door card with more vinyl as well. Please note that the seat belt is integrated into the actual door, not into the frame. And so yes, the door actually has kind of an L shape to it. There is no top to it, but when the door opens, it also opens to that upper part as well. I've moved our seat forward because again, it is a 2-seater. There's no back seat, but I thought you might appreciate it does have a map holder on the back of this passenger seat, and again, a darker gray, more fabric upholstery here, and of course this back little shelf has more upholstery, and upholstery. This thing's amazing. As we go to our ceiling, it is a vinyl, but notice there's no moonroof, no sunroof. It is solid metal with our upholstery on it, of course. So we're back at the steering wheel, and of course it said airbag a second ago, still says airbag on the steering wheel. It has a lovely Z in the center. Only things we see on the steering wheel are horn buttons, because the sides is where we have controls for our HVAC, our window washers is on this kind of a wing. It's not even a stock, it's more of a wing. On this wing, you'll see that we have controls for our cruise control and for our headlights. So very simple steering wheel, in great condition, no blistering, no damage from the sun, because this thing has been a garage princess. So enough of this interior talk. I'm really curious what it looks like on the underneath.
So let's see if it's equally nice underneath. We just saw some videos recently where we found out that although it was beautiful on top of the car, it was a disaster underneath. There is some fluid you'll see on the bottom because Danielson removed the water pump while he's doing this timing belt job. So obviously there's going to be some fluid there, but let's check the rest of the car. Here's a fan, which is in good shape. The condenser is not plugged with bugs and it's not leaking. Obviously this is going to probably be an R12 car. You can definitely tell with some of the cores in between the fins, they're a lot larger on an R12 car than they are with 134. Check out these brakes. They got about 60% remaining. They're still good. Looks like it's recently had struts all the way around, so that's good to go. Nothing loose there. Looks like it's maybe recently had some strut rods on here, these torque strut rods. Sway bar links are good, new struts, and brakes are good. So I mentioned there's a little bit of fluid because it's currently being worked on, which you see right here. But let's start looking this way back. Our steering rack is not leaking, and it's in great shape. And right behind that is the oil pan for the engine, and also looks equally as nice. It looks like someone put a coating on this maybe years ago. You can see it on the body, and some of it got onto the transmission, which is fine because it helps protect it as well. But I like this right here. Unlike a Ford Mustang, if your clutch slave cylinder dies, you don't have to pull the whole transmission out. It's bolted to the side and very easy to get to. There's a starter, which is also very easy to get to, so those items would not be hard to work on. It does have dual exhaust from the engine all the way back. It stays dual, which I like to see. Our transmission mount looks okay. All the exhaust is original and intact in this area. Here's our fuel tank, and one thing I like to see on older cars, which they don't do anymore, is there are little drain plugs here. So if you need to drain the gas or something's wrong, you can drain it so you're not having to lift this heavy tank full of gas. They don't do that anymore. It's too bad. Here's our drive shaft. Everything looks good there. Here's our differential. No leaks. From here back, we have aftermarket exhaust. It says Quiet Flow SS. Again, we see new struts in the back. I think all 4 were recently replaced. The brakes are about 60% remaining. Same story over here. Sway bar link is good. Strut is good. Nothing loose. So it is as nice on the bottom as it is on the top. It is very, very clean under here. I didn't see any rust anywhere because of the coating that's been applied years ago that saved this car. It really is in nice shape. Let's check the tires. 32nd week of 2020. So these tires still have some life left in them, so they're good to go. Let's get this thing on the ground. One thing that is also kind of more difficult to do on this is the air filters. You would think they'd be in the engine bay around here or something, but they're not. They're in between the headlights. And I'll show you the little panel here. Danielson actually already has it disconnected here. And you take this panel off that has the Nissan emblem on it. And then we get to our mass airflow sensor, and it has 2 air filters, a left and a right. So it's a little bit more involved, but it's not too bad. So yes, those are Lamborghini Diablo headlights. They really, really are. I'm not kidding. That's what they used. But that's cool, because if they ever bust or get cracked, you can get some of these out of a salvage yard and be back in business. Danielson has that removed because part of the service we're going to do on this also includes the air filters. So he's going to go ahead and get those changed while he's there. We're going to take care of the timing belt so that there's peace of mind. So that's been handled. Because of the age of the car, the miles isn't so much there, but the age of the car really is. So it's definitely time to do it. Do some services, get this thing caught up, and it'll be ready for sale. Again, Euroasian Bob is selling this vehicle. There's a link in the description if you're interested in it. These things on Marketplace go for 20 to 30 grand or more if they're really nice. So you're probably not going to get it for $49.95 or broken PlayStations for trade. Don't even try. But I definitely wanted to do a video. It's been a long time since I've seen one of these that's so nice. And I really love these cars. Eurasian Bob has been looking for years for a presentable one, a nice one that he can sell on his lot. And usually he gets one, he looks it over, and oh man, this thing's too far gone or whatnot. And it's been a long time since he's been able to actually find a decent one. He finally did. It'll be up for sale again. Check the link in the description. This thing is really, really nice. Again, I wanted to share it with you guys. There's a big community of 300ZX fans out there that love these cars, and I'm definitely one of them. If you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to work on this car or any other car you see in the background, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. If you purchase anything there, we get a small cut, and we really appreciate it. Make sure to check out Mrs. Wizard's Ways. She's got new content there as well, really cool videos. And hit the subscribe button here before you go, because we have a full schedule, which means tons of videos for you guys. Thanks for watching.